welcome to another episode of Spontaneous Disruption. It's your girl, Elle.
And it's your host, Nikki.
Hey, Nikki. How you doing, sis?
I'm good. How are you? I've been battling a cold over the weekend. But
You have. You sound so much better. I was concerned for you.
I feel so much better. And thank you so much for bringing me some soup and bananas. You saved my life.
That was an odd request. I've never heard. Never ever heard of
The bananas were like just for like potassium and strength, you know.
Yeah.
And the soup was just, you know, I don't know, because my mama said.
Because your mama said. I was trying to push it on you, anyways.
Everybody is trying to push soup on me, and I'm like, why soup?
I'm like, you gotta have soup. You have to have soup.
I had some like broth, but like, you know, I was like, I thought about it and I was like, maybe some chicken in the soup would be good. Some chicken in the broth. Yeah. Anywho, yeah.
I guess that means you probably haven't been up too much. You've been convalescing.
I have been invalid. I think I left the house like a little bit on Saturday to like get an admissions test, you know what I mean? I had to get an admissions test for my auto renewal. And then Sunday, no, girl, I had on gloves and a mask. And when I went to the farm, because, you know, they're both outside. So like, well, the admissions was outside. And then when I went to the pharmacy, because I had a little virtual doctor appointment, I went to the drive-through pharmacy. So I was outside.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to be courteous and respectful, not getting anybody else sick.
Girl, let me tell you, on the other hand, I need to sit down. I keep saying I'm tired, I'm gonna sit down, but I just don't do it yet. I haven't done it yet.
Have you enrolled in your swimming lessons yet?
No, it's not officially fall yet, is it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, don't play with me. Don't play with me.
Fall is coming, but it is not
official fall. Technically, by date was Labor Day weekend. That was the end of it.
No,
that was the end of the summer. So what season are we in now? Autumn.
It's coming.
Is that what you're doing?
It's coming.
So you tell me the date, so because I'm gonna check back with you. When is fall?
Yes, I love that you're trying to keep me.
When is fall? Don't be dancing around this question.
I don't know.
When does your fall begin? I'm not asking you for like, you know, the universal, because my universal is like September. And by the way, it's been a bit chilly in the mornings now. You know, it seems like it's switched.
I'm all right with it, actually. I am so okay with it.
I'm okay with it, but I'm just saying, like, you know, it feels more like we're getting obviously into fall. We're falling into fall.
So. Yeah. But no, it's coming. It's coming. I know you.
I didn't hear a date, but I'm gonna leave you alone for now. Leave you alone for now. You got until
Wait, I think I just found it. The autumn equinox falls on a Sunday, September 22nd. So before September 22nd, I will be registered somewhere for swimming lessons and my Spanish classes.
Okay, so I'm gonna check with you. I'm gonna give you a little padding. And I'll check with you on the 1st of October.
Oh, really? I appreciate it. Thank you. So, yeah.
A little pad extra time in there.
It's time. I need party time is over.
But after that, I don't want to hear nothing.
Party time is over, so. But all right, girl. You ready to get on with this show? You ready to get started with some technically speaking?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. What you got?
Don't know what much to say about this person, but there's this musician, you know, you probably heard about it. Like, he's indicted for, he had earned like $10 million for streaming AI tracks that he didn't actually create. Like he, for the most part, they were formulated with AI, but the thing he was doing is just doing these like small iterations of it and creating all these fake posting accounts in order to like post them across different streaming services.
Yes, I heard about that. Like Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music.
He started back in 2017 and has earned like $10 million in royalty. He's based in North Carolina. I couldn't find his name, but I probably just didn't look hard enough. But
I'm gonna take a little bit deeper. But $10 million, that's nothing to sneeze at. Since 2017, that's a pretty good haul.
Yeah.
I find it so interesting. Like the cyber criminal world now. They're getting so creative with making all this money. Like that's a lot of money. Basically, he didn't do any of the work. He created these AI tracks. Well, the AI actually created the tracks for him. And I guess most of the work was probably setting up all the different accounts to get the accounts to stream his music.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But
But
that's
I think though, I read that, he had like this shell company that all these businesses were individually registered under, that were, he was generating money through on these royalties. Um, and he had even like gotten so much attention that he was like invited to like a meeting with the head of an AI music company. Like, so like, I don't know, girl, but I think at the end of the day, um, he got caught. So you make too much money and they can't really explain the source of it.
it's
Um,
interesting. Like it's
yeah.
fraud, but I guess it's fraud on the like Spotify and Amazon or whoever's paying for those royalties.
Hmm.
That's I find that really interesting. I read that he had, each of his bot accounts could stream like 636 songs a day.
That's crazy.
So he had the whole machine going. It was humming.
So, Spotify kind of changed their algorithm to address issues like this, because I
Hmm.
think other criminals have wisened up to like some of these loopholes, and they're like, you have to stream a minimum of like 1,000 per account in order to get paid, and that's per year, per account per year. So like if it were like 600 something, like in a year, you wouldn't get paid at all.
That's super wild, though. That's
Yeah.
wild. I mean, some of these cyber
Which
criminals,
hurts other
they are
creators, you
lazy,
know
but
what I
they're like
mean?
mad smart. They're
Yeah.
like mad smart. Like that.
Mad
That's smart.
scientists, yeah.
Yeah,
But it hurts other creators, because
I
then they have
know.
to safeguard for the folks who just want to take all these shortcuts and like not do original art and basically steal easy money.
I wonder what's gonna happen to this young man. He's
I
smart.
don't know,
Just
but
have
10
to pay
million is
restitution.
a big
That's
that it
a
seems
lot.
like. Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's based in North Carolina, but like the US district of Southern District. I can't remember if it's I think it's an antitrust
Hmm.
um, court that has
Okay.
basically built a case against him. There's an indictment. So, girl,
That's interesting.
pretty interesting. This president risen to that level. So, I don't know. I don't think he
Yeah.
would have got away with it if
Well,
he had so much
you
money.
know, that's the thing too. A lot of people don't know when to get out. Like get out
Hmm.
while you're ahead. Like $10 million. That's pretty greedy. He probably should have got out way sooner than that. And you could have
Yeah.
even built off of that and did other legitimate businesses. Folks don't know how to fear
You could have
profit.
taken them money and moved over to Bali with Russell Simmons, and you would have been good. You
Oh,
quit while you're ahead.
you ahead. So, all right. Well, in other news in the tech world, so we have the White House has convened a meeting with representatives from Amazon, Alphabet's Google, Microsoft, and Cloudflare in a bid to encourage these tech giants to offer more digital bandwidth for government-funded internet censorship evasion tools. So basically,
Hmm.
like VPNs, virtual private networks.
Yeah,
I thought this was an interesting story as well because
it is interesting
the
because
basically the U.S. Well, other countries like Russia, Iran, other authoritarian states that are
yeah,
heavily censored, that they heavily censor their internet.
yeah.
They have seen a big, huge demand in VPNs.
You
So
know
folks,
why? Because it's law in some places. So, I
yeah,
mentioned I was going to Dubai, and so, in the UAE, of course, like anytime I go somewhere, I read up on it and how I'm going to communicate and things like
uh-huh,
that. They encourage you to establish a VPN. So you can't, because they ban FaceTime or whatever. So I don't know if things have changed, if I have the latest information, but
hmm.
I'm expecting to not necessarily be able to use FaceTime. But I'm not setting up a VPN. I'm not connected to a VPN. I'm just gonna not be in touch.
Okay. Understood. And for those of you who
If
don't
it's
know what
that serious, I'll email you.
yeah. For those of
Email
you who
whoever.
don't know what a VPN is, it helps users hide their identity and change their like online location just to, avoid and bypass geographical restrictions on content. So basically they're trying to evade government censorship of technology. And the reason why I thought that was interesting because the assumption, I guess, by the White House is that these VPNs and expanding the usage of them in these other countries is going to be used for good. The thing is also they can be used for more nefarious purposes. So I found that interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. It really is. So
So
I don't.
we'll see where that goes. But they say VPN demand in Russia and Iran has quadrupled over the years.
Yeah, because I don't know. They probably because a lot of the hackers are there. Let's watch. Let's keep an eye on Nigeria.
All right, and other technically speaking news. As you know, it is NFL season. The season has just started. We are in week 1 of football. I'm so
How
excited
the
about it.
Bears do?
The Bears actually won. I'm so excited. Your Cowboys won also, actually, and they
Of
should.
course,
They're
of
they're
course.
paying their quarterback like he's the
Whatever.
highest paid quarterback in the game right now, so he better be doing something right.
Yeah,
We'll see if he gets to the Super Bowl though.
we'll see.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so fans of the Atlanta Falcons can now go to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium to watch the Falcons play football this season, and they'll be able to enter the stadium and even buy food and drinks without having to pull out their phones, ID, or credit cards. That's right, folks. They now have facial recognition system that allows fans to take a selfie in the ticketing app before the game or on tablets provided at the entrance. And then you enter through the dedicated lanes that don't require them to show a physical or digital ticket, only their faces.
So this is like something you have to pre-register for. Like you just can't go up in there and it's like, oh, we recognize you because you have an American Express, and so there's some link to there. And you know what? We just gonna put these nachos on your tab. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
how is that working? Like is the NFL app or Falcons app or something that's allowing people that's enabling this technology, and you have to have registered your face or something.
I think you register your face when
Yeah.
you enter the actual stadium. So you register your
So each
face.
time.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Because
Yes.
there's
And
some
they
doppelgangers out there. I'm
it
being
is, and I was
concerned.
interested in that. I was like, some folks look like other folks. It's going to be real interesting. But they say there is security personnel that's going to monitor the technology, and they'll get notifications of any mismatches or any attempts to commit fraud, like somebody trying to buy, you know, a hot dog on your ticket or whatever. So they supposedly can figure that out, but I don't know how.
This
So
is weird because it's like, is it actually making anything easy? Because, like, what would make things easy is if I could, like, open an app and say, bring me some nachos to section whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well,
that
that
would
might
make
be
things
as
easier.
well.
You're not really improving anything by making it easier for me to spend more money. Like, whatever. I don't
When
know.
I think about the biometric screening, it does make it a little bit easier at the airport also because I have Clear, and so that it
That's
uses
the
those biometric.
airport. You're incentivized to use your face to get through security, okay? Because
Amen.
otherwise you're dealing with TSA. But girl,
We'll see, but for
to get
now,
some
yeah,
hot dogs, oh, I don't know. I'm not
they say,
registering my face to buy hot dogs and
"Oh my God,
Twizzlers.
that's so funny." Twizzlers. They
Whatever they
said
got
right
going
now it's
on.
optional though. It's optional for now, so folks can't opt out of it. You don't have to use it, but we'll see. I'm
Did
not
you
sure
go
if
to
they're
the
gonna.
game or you had you used
I have
it or
not gone to the
okay.
game. I have not used it. I was actually looking at their schedule to see if I will go to it. I'm not an Atlanta Falcons fan, and
Fan, yeah, me
they
either.
don't
But
play the
they
Bears.
have some
But
lit
that stadium
like
is nice
block
too.
parties. Yeah, the little parties that go on outside. Yeah,
Oh yeah, what
the
is that place called? The
tailgating.
backyard. The backyard. I think it's called the
I don't know what
backyard.
it's called. I've been
Where we
over
used to
there a
go.
couple times. It's definitely a party. It's lit.
Yeah, that stadium's nice. All
Hmm.
right, girl. So what
All
else we
right.
got?
Well, we got some low vibration news. I mean, you had to have heard about Tyreek Hill,
Yeah,
Miami Dolphins player who was
NFL.
detained by Miami Dade, Miami Vice.
Mhm. Florida is
Yeah,
going Florida
girl.
always, child.
Well, he got pulled
Did you
out.
see the
Pulled
video?
out of. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. Like, but it was a little. Tyreek, he has a little bit of a history, with run-ins with the police because due to a domestic violence incident a while back.
Hmm.
But, in this case, he was reckless driving. He happened to be on
Well,
his
that's what
way
they said. He
to
was
work.
reckless driving. He was
Well,
turning
I
into
mean,
the
he was
stadium.
speeding supposedly and reckless driving, but that could have started, well before. But there were like three cops on him, which leads me to believe that they might have spotted him a little bit earlier, doing his thing, like not right
Likely,
before he turned into the stadium.
girl driving
Likely,
back
but
in
all of
high
this
school.
like allegedly, right? But
Hmm.
um, the main officer who was the most egregious aggressor. I mean, the conversation kind of went like this. He walked up to Tyreek's car, his luxury vehicle, and he knocked on the window. And Tyreek rolled his window down. I don't know when he rocked on the window way because that part was cut out of the video I saw. But Tyreek was like, don't hit my window like that, man. Don't hit my window like that. And he was just like, yeah, well, why don't you have on your seatbelt? Like, come on. So I'm assuming there was more conversation that happened before then, but he started walking. He was like, yeah, just do your job, like just do what you got to do, basically, like write me the ticket so I can go, like I'm late. And the officer turned officer Menudo G. Zimmerman is what we'll call him because his name has not been released.
I'm sure it
Um,
has.
he walked back to toward his car, and then as he was doing that, Tyreek rolled his window up, and so he turned back before getting to the ticket writing and said, "Open up your window, like roll down your window, like roll your window down." And then I don't know if Tyreek, it didn't look like he did it immediately. Then I guess he rolled it down some, and he was like, "Keep your window down, keep your window down. Just keep your window down. We're not going to play that game." I don't know what game he was talking about. What they was going to pull out some spades on the side of the road, or
I hope that
I
doubt
don't
they were.
I don't really know what was going on. Some chess. So he told her, he's like, just keep your window down or I'm going to get you out of the car. And matter of fact, like, go ahead and get out of the car. Like, basically, he
That's
wanted
so
smoke. He
unnecessary. So
wanted smoke.
basically, yeah, he
Yeah, you
wanted.
got the nerve to roll your
I'm
window
like,
up while you wait on a ticket in 90-degree weather in your
racist.
luxury vehicle.
And then the another one of his teammates showed up, as I understand it, one or two of them, and they put somebody else in handcuffs who was actually trying to de-escalate the situation. It was just getting out
He
of hand.
he did. He was just like, why are y'all being so aggressive
It's
and stuff
insane.
like
It's like
that.
write the damn
Yeah.
ticket. It should never escalate to that point. But I don't know what it is. Is it testosterone with men? They gotta fight over whose
No, no,
penis or
it's
balls is
it's
bigger. I'm not
racism.
sure.
He
But
saw
that's
him driving while black,
driving a nice vehicle while black. That's what it sounds like,
and
allegedly.
what's wrong with rolling up your window while you waiting on your ticket to get rid? I've done that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
write the
why?
damn
What is
ticket,
the
bro.
issue?
Just write
I
the
think
ticket.
there was just tension from the beginning with the whole "don't tap on my window" like that, and he's like, getting, in his feelings, and I don't know. Either way, you're the professional, right? You're the one who was there to do the job. Seriously though, what is wrong with just writing a ticket? Write him a ticket.
Keep it
Write
moving.
him a ticket.
Absolutely. But
It
you
didn't
gotta
have to be, I'm pulling
take
you
them
out
down
of
a
the
piece.
car and now I got my knee on your back and I'm
Yeah.
calling you boy
I mean,
and all
exactly.
of
He was
this. So
like
that to me, I'm
on
gonna
the
call it
ground, on his
racism.
stomach. Yeah, it was definitely excessive from what I saw.
Yeah.
I don't know the whole story, but we'll see. What I do know is that that officer, I guess you said the most egregious one, that one is already out on leave. So he's on leave pending the investigation, from what I understand. I don't know what
He's
happened
on
with the
leave.
other
So
two.
like, yeah, the chief of the cartel cops
I don't know the cartel.
basically sorry.
But yeah, so he
He
gets
told
he
them she
cohorts. They get low vibe for sure.
definitely get low vibe, but yeah, he has a lawyer now, and his lawyer is calling for his immediate reinstatement. So I don't know how it's gonna go, but Tyreek, he said basically that tells you all you need to know that he got suspended. But yeah, no,
He
you
needs to
really
get
do
some
have to do an
retraining.
investigation. Yeah, no. He said, my dad told me when I was ever in these situations, like I definitely needed to, just pay, like I don't know, just kind of like keep it chill. But I don't feel like he was really that chill. But he definitely did not deserve
No.
what happened. Yeah,
I mean, why does this keep happening? Is always my question. Like, officers, you are supposed to protect and serve. It's a traffic stop. Like,
it's
seriously,
Florida.
it doesn't need to get to that level or that degree.
It really doesn't. But
Okay,
it's
well, do
Florida.
better. Do better.
Ron DeSantis is Florida. So
All right. Well, we're gonna get into some highlights because we need to vibrate higher from there. All right. Okay, so let's talk about Dr.
yeah.
Joanne Patterson. She is a pioneering psychiatric nurse practitioner and a nurse entrepreneur.
Hmm.
I love this. So she has revolutionized mental health treatment in our city of Atlanta by establishing the first ever tiny home clinic. Okay. So
That's
this is
interesting.
I
Yeah.
think so too. And then I just love it because it's for mental health. Like we've seen like
Is it mental health for like people who live in tiny homes, or like it's just mental health services provided from a
it
tiny
is
home?
it
I'm
is
sorry.
it is just a tiny home providing mental health treatment to anyone, whether you live in a big house, small
Imagine if you in a
house,
tiny home,
abandoned house,
kid,
any house.
boy, you don't need some treatment.
Okay. So the
I need
groundbreaking
treatment though.
initiative. No, I do. Hey, there's nothing wrong with getting a little bit of help or just having a
Not a
conversation every now and
thing.
then and do a mental check-in. But
Not a
she's making
thing.
that easy. So the groundbreaking initiative aims to provide culturally accessible mental health care to residents in the area. So the clinic offers a warm and inviting setting reminiscent of a home, creating a comfortable environment for their patients, particularly women and children, to receive their specialized treatment. So she's accepting new patients every day. She says, be balanced and unbothered. Okay.
Okay.
Again,
Mhm.
Joanne Patterson. So congratulations,
Okay.
sis.
Miss
Keep
Joanne.
doing good out here in the world. I appreciate that.
That's what's up.
All right. So you want to talk about what's staying on the internet?
Not really, girl, because it revolves around this whole school shooting that kicked off like another gun violence incident
Yeah.
in the
In
US. I
schools.
think this we're getting close to 50 now this
I mean,
year.
it's so
But
crazy. I don't want to get desensitized, but
yeah,
like the outrage is not what it used to be. I don't feel like it is.
yeah, yeah. And the NRA is like completely silent on all this stuff, right? But like Republicans generally are like completely silent. You know, they're always talking about like protect yourself. And look, I'm nonpartisan, so like I'm not picking on them, but I also carry, but at the same time, like you have to there has to be some balance. But yeah,
Yeah,
so this story is about Colt Gray. He's a 14-year-old. He's now in prison, and his words to the arresting officers was, "I did it." He killed four people, two teachers, two math teachers specifically,
yeah.
and two students, one of them being a black autistic kid and the other one being a Hispanic boy. And
It's crazy.
yeah,
14
so
years old.
mhm,
14 years old. How
14.
does a 14-year-old have that much rage?
Girl, so
It's so
it went
sad.
way back. But before we do that, I want to acknowledge the other victims because seven other people were also injured seriously in the incident. They were shot, and it's just two others got other injuries, maybe from like hiding and falling or whatever it was. Right? They
Yeah.
didn't specify what the injuries were, but yeah. So about a year ago, yeah, roughly a year ago, because it was a few months, couple months before Christmas,
Hmm.
um, Colt had put some messages out online that he was going to shoot up a middle school, and he posted gun photos and stuff like that with it. And so, of course, like I think it was on Facebook or something, and then the FBI got wind of it because it was reported. They followed through, did their job, they tracked it back to Colt and Colt Gray, the 14-year-old, and his home. They questioned him and his father, who's 54 now, at the time 53.
How did
And
he wait? How did the kid get a hold of the gun? Did they say?
yeah, I'm gonna tell you.
Oh Lord.
So the father said at the time, they had guns in the house, but they're all locked up. That Colt doesn't have any access to him. The father's name is Colin, by the way, and he's divorced, so like it's just him and the son that who were living there. Him, Colin, and Colt. Colt is the son, Colin is the father. So in December, I'm not sure what conversation was had between the two of them, but he gifted his son an AR style weapon for Christmas.
Girl.
Yeah. At 2 months roughly after the FBI and the local police had tracked him down to discuss this with him. And at the time, the local police put the school on alert about him specifically and about,
Mhm.
there being, a threat. So they did have some mechanisms in place, like, say, just standard stuff. They didn't have any kind of like gun screening at the school, and
Mhm.
then was
Yeah, I was gonna
implemented.
ask that question, how
None.
he had an AR style weapon
No gun
inside
screening at
school.
that school. They think there is no small town USA, y'all.
Not
Like,
anymore.
this stuff can happen anywhere. However,
Yeah.
they did have locking doors in the classrooms. And so I think what happened is Colt left out of the classroom at some point, and of course the door auto locked. So he was locked out. So he came back to the classroom that he was in and knocked on the door because it was locked. And one of the students he had a gun in his hand, and so of course she didn't answer she wouldn't open the door. Like, I guess she alerted
Yeah,
other
I saw
people,
that young
but he
lady.
immediately turned. Yeah, she was very well spoken. She
Yeah,
didn't
she said
seem
her
to be
mom
like,
all taught her
yeah,
to always look, don't just
yeah,
open the door, just look. I think she was a little black
yeah.
girl. I think we all kind of was taught that
No,
also.
she wasn't black.
I thought she was a little black
No,
girl.
she was a white girl,
Well, good
and
for her though.
yeah, like,
She probably saved a lot of
they
lives.
usually open the door without looking, but no, I'm not. I'm just picking on
I know.
them.
It's all them scary
I thought
movies.
only black
What's
people
that
did that.
sound? And they go
But
check it out. We
it's
never
really
do.
good though. That's also a good like safety thing. Like, don't open the door for danger. Like, don't open the door for strangers, period. But she said that, and she was trying to be really careful with her words when she was interviewed by the local
Oh,
news, that she didn't want to characterize him as the type, but basically he fit the stereotype that you would hear, somebody who's really to themselves, who never speaks to anyone, who's just a
being
freaking
bullied and stuff.
weirdo,
Yeah, I think
basically.
that was the dad's excuse. I think I read that he said the son was being bullied and being called gay and all this. That was his excuse. But I mean,
Well,
people
it's
need
not
to.
an excuse to buy him a firearm when you know he's at risk of like doing something like that.
And
And
why
so
does
the
a
father has
14-year-old
been
year old
arrested
need a
too.
weapon? That's insane. And
Why do you
I
need
was not
that?
surprised.
Why would you
I was
put
not
that in his
surprised when
hands?
I
What
heard
do you
this
think he was going to do
father.
with it? And then he actually, Colt, the son, texted his mother the morning of the
He did that
incident
recently, and
and
she
told
called the
her that
school.
he just texted her and said, "I'm sorry, mom." And alarm bells went off. She knew exactly what that meant, which was crazy, right? She
Yeah,
knew he was going to do this, which means that the father who's living in the house with him knew it because she lived out of state. So she called the school immediately. There was about 30 minutes between the time that she alerted the school and the time that the police were called about the incident, like around 10,
and see, it could
10:20.
have been
Yeah.
prevented. Somebody
So it
didn't
could
act.
have been prevented, could have
Mom
locked
called.
down, like everything.
Yeah,
There's just so much that's wrong here. They could have made an immediate announcement and
yeah,
said no one leaves or enters classrooms, stop everything. Like, there is a
yeah,
gun threat. Like, there is so much they could immediately call the police. There's so much it seems like they could have done. So I think
yeah.
obviously the investigation is still underway, but both Colin and Colt have been arrested and charged, and as he should. The father should also. He definitely is
Yeah, you would
partially
think they would
responsible.
learn. Yeah, because we talked
Yeah,
about that other couple, that other husband and wife who were convicted also, because I set the precedent. And this was so recent. This just happened within this year. I think we reported on that story, or late last year. The
yeah,
the couple whose son they knew, that he had all these
yeah,
mental problems. He asked for help, and they were telling him, laughing at him, telling him to basically to man up, sort of thing.
yeah. So I will say there is a lot of technology that the staff were able to use to alert the police.
Yeah, I heard
And
that
so,
too.
yeah, they have like these digital
Well, those
ID
auto
cards, and
lock
there's like
doors are
safe
good
button.
too.
The
Yeah.
locks are smart, But y'all also have to do gun screening. Like the fact that y'all don't have metal detectors, that security at schools and churches at this point should look like the airport. You need
Which
to be
is
taken off. You
terrible.
need to be taken
Which
off.
is
Like,
terrible.
but
Like
it's true. But it's true because
I know it's so
how
sad, but
else are you going
how
to
can we
assure
get back
people?
there? How can we get back to a point where kids can go to school and
I
not have to
think
have
we're past
armed
the
guards?
point
We don't
of
want
no
teachers
return.
having guns. This is just crazy.
I
I
think
don't know
we're
what's
past
the
there. We're
solution.
past the point. And no, we need a school marshal. We need like
Oh
there's
yeah,
so many things that are needed at this point because one thing that really like stuck with me is just reading the words of some of the kids, which is just like I want to go to school and worry about graduating and where
I
I'm gonna leave
know.
my career one day versus am I gonna die?
Oh
And
my
so
gosh.
imagine
I,
that's at that age having to have those type of thoughts. I mean, that we didn't have those thoughts when we were going to school.
I don't know what they can provide for these kids. They need some sort of counseling or mental check in. They need to talk to each and every student. I don't know, maybe every 3 months or something. They need to be able to talk to someone to express what's going on with them. Because I just feel like there had to be signs that like were missed.
Not
And then
only
we need to do
that,
something
like
about
he
bullying. A
wasn't
lot of this stuff
even.
stems from bullying and just things that are out of the school's control, which is things that are happening at home, abuse and, you can't really control what happens outside the home, but there has to be a way for these kids to get some help, and they're
Yeah,
not endangering other people's kids or other kids. It's just really sad. It's
yeah.
sad, and I'm so sick of hearing about it. It actually gave me nightmares
Oh, I'm
because I
sorry.
watched a lot of the coverage all day, and I literally had nightmares about it. And I
I
don't even
think
have
I think
kids,
I
but
think
it's
if I had children, absolutely, or
I
was
have so much
responsible for
anxiety.
children, like I definitely would be like I can understand the nerves of a parent, like
And how
about
are they
this.
supposed to go back to school? They got to go back to that same school because it's a small town. I think
Yeah,
there's only that one high school. Like,
they're closed for the week, but that's it. And it's
yeah,
back to school. It's like yeah,
those kids are gonna need so much therapy just to get through the year. I mean, you drop a book on the floor, I probably like would be jumping out of my skin.
mm.
So
I know.
very sad, very
Seriously,
sad. All right. So, in other sad news, I just want to say this before we move on to the next story. I want to give condolences out to the family of James Earl Jones, loved actor, very acclaimed. He died at the age of 93. He's best known for his deep, rich voice and huge smile and presence. So, some of my favorite roles were, of course, he was the voice of Darth Vader and the voice of Mufasa in Lion King. And, we also love him in the comedy classic Coming to America. So,
yeah, yeah. Definitely
it
condolences to the
happened. So,
family. But he was 93, right?
yeah, 93 years old. 93
Hopefully
years
that he lived a really good life. I saw a
Yeah.
man recently who was 147 years old.
Girl, where? I thought the oldest person alive
Uh,
just recently died and was a female. But, oh,
now I
wow.
can't remember what country it was, but he's supposedly the oldest man, and he was skin and bones. But
I wonder if he lives in
he was a
the blue
former.
zone.
I think it's Thailand. I think it might be Thailand, but
Ah, okay.
yeah, he's
All
like a
right,
Thai
girl.
priest or something like that.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna look that up. But you say he was skin and bones. So is he just
Hmm.
alive or is he living?
He's just living because he was laid up, but he was moving, like he. When I say skin and bones, like you could actually his eyes were sunken and you could see his skeletal system. I
Oh
thought
gosh.
a little girl because he was patting a little girl's head, and I thought that maybe it was AI, and I'm just like really naive, but like there was a whole article about this, you know what I mean? But I don't know.
AI is
Like
causing
he
my
was patting his like
confusion.
it looked like his granddaughter or great 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 granddaughter's
Oh
head, and
Jesus.
I
Yeah.
thought she was playing with like a skeleton, and I
Jesus.
realized this guy put his next put his hand up to his face and like wiped his face or something, and I was like,
You're like, oh,
what?
that's a real person. Oh wow.
Yes, and then I read the article and I was like, oh my goodness. But yeah, you never know like how long I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
mean,
here,
140 something years is a long time, but Lord, if I'm gonna live that long, I want to be living, not just
living.
alive. I
Yeah.
want to be
Yeah,
living. All
for
right,
sure.
girl. Well, in other internet news, I finally got up the nerve to watch Lee Daniels' The Deliverance on Netflix. Have you seen it?
Freaking wuss. Freaking wuss.
You know I'm scared of stuff like that. I don't do ghosts. I don't do, exorcism type stuff. I don't mess with the Lord. I don't mess with spirits. I don't do Ouija
This was
boards.
comedy though.
Some of it
This was
is
more like horror. I would call it horror comedy at this point.
some of it was funny. Like I did kind of laugh at, the main character's relationship with her mom and how they like kind of talk to each other. But it wasn't as scary as I expected it to be. So I made it through. I had no nightmares. But of course, you had Glenn Close in Deliverance. And I think she upset a lot of black folks.
I don't know why though. That was funny.
This is so interesting to me that people, find that to be upset about. And they were particularly upset about a line that she delivered in the movie. And that line was when she was possessed by the devil. Or actually, I think this was after she died and the devil took on the form of her mom and was speaking to, I guess, the lady that was performing the exorcism or the deliverance. And the line said, I can smell your nappy puppy. But instead of puppy, imagine the two P's in the middle were S's. Okay.
Yeah.
So black folks was all up in arms about that.
I was laughing about her whole portrayal of this white mom to like this black, matriarch rather to this family, right? Her daughter who is mixed, and then the
Right.
kids who are like mostly black, right?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it was just crazy. Like she was braiding hair and all. She was dating
girl, putting in
Omar
her
Epps.
her weave, flirting with all the black men. She was just like in the black community. She was mixing in. But they had a
Yeah.
problem, black folks, they decided they had a problem with Lee Daniels putting her in it because he said, we all know in Alberta, she's a part of the fabric of our community, but we've never seen her on screen before. He was like thanking Glenn Close for bringing the character to life. It's interesting because I've never seen her in a role like that. I would never think she would do a role like that. I mean, I thought she was good, but yeah, people were up in arms about that statement. She's part of the fabric of our community. They did not like that Lee Daniels, and they came after
Listen, what
him.
they need to realize is that Glenn Close didn't write those lines. You
She
know,
did not write those
she didn't
lines.
like
She
she
did
didn't
not
ad
write.
lib those lines. She read the script and she performed the script. And someone black imagined that a white woman
Person
playing this
saying that. Yeah,
character and saying those words. So who you mad at? Like, be mad at the right person. Like, I guess
yeah,
they're mad at Lee Daniels. But the thing
yeah.
is, like, first of all, Glenn is a phenomenal actress.
She
She
is.
has a lot of depth and range, obviously. And no, I wouldn't have seen her necessarily playing this role. But honestly, she and Monique are the reasons why I watched it. I saw Monique in the
Absolutely.
reading, and
Mhm.
she has a history of doing some horror that has really been good. So I thought that there were elements. I mean, the movie itself overall, I thought the entire script was goofy, but I
Yeah,
thought that the acting in it was well done. I will say
yeah.
that.
I'd
Yeah.
have to say it was decent. I mean, some people did have some really good points because basically the person didn't exist in real life because we know the Deliverance was based on a true story. And so people are just like, this was not needed, so why? So they had some good points about that, but I'm not particularly angry about her playing that role. And the other thing I think is, the fact that Lee Daniels generalized and said that she was part of the fabric of our community. I don't know about that either. I don't know where he
Mm.
gets that
With
from.
all this
Like,
swirling
everybody knows
going
someone
on,
like her. Like, no.
pretty much. Like, he's not lying either.
Okay, well, that brings us to our main topic, and that topic has to do with selective outrage,
To which this applies.
to which this applies. So we're not necessarily talking about the Chris Rock special, but he kind of touched on it as well. So, but what I mean by selective outrage, it isn't just about what you get mad about, but it's about what you decide not to be mad about because it doesn't fit like whatever benefit there is for you at that particular time.
Yeah.
So And I bring that, and I wanted to talk about this too because again, it ties into even the school shooter situation. So you have some politicians who are in bed with the NRA. They want to be outraged about, kids getting shot in school, but they don't want to come up with any solutions about the fact that there are gun laws that allow guns to be in children's hands.
Or the selective outrage about, black and brown immigrants coming into the country versus like paving the way for white immigrants, particularly from Ukraine and other places, right? So
Absolutely.
it's like you facilitated things to help them. There are also people who are, in dire straits in other countries, who from black and brown countries, who you don't like really facilitate things for. And it's not right. It's selective outrage.
It is selective outrage. And I'm always so curious about it too, because I mean, to me, it really is hypocritical in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah. It's the hypocrisy.
It's
Yeah.
the hypocrisy of it all. I think people who decide to pick a specific thing to be outraged about and not look at the larger picture, they really need to practice some self-reflection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
You need
that
to
that
really
that
look into
phrase,
your own biases.
yeah, like the phrase like what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Like that's why it was created in the first place, right? Somebody came up with that because it's like if you're mad about this particular scenario, then in these particular circumstances, you should be upset about it if there's just all different characters in the same circumstances. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, you're selectively upset about whatever it is that is going on, and you're applying like different penalty to things that have selectively upset you.
Right,
you know
exactly. So, and I'm probably going to upset a lot of people with this, but I think about, gentrification is supposedly like a dirty word. People don't like to use the phrase gentrification when neighborhoods are
Have you
turning
heard about
over.
them trying to rebrand gentrification?
Yeah, they've been trying to do that. For what are
Mhm.
they trying to rebrand it to? I'm curious.
uh I don't know, like I'm just saying, like
Look
they
into that.
they want to look at it as something that is positive, but like the displacement of people, like I don't know how you rebrand it to
Well, this is
somehow.
my thing about that. I don't agree with the displacement of people at all, especially if you decide to stay in your neighborhood or whatever. You should be able to do that, and that shouldn't be an issue.
But
But
hold
my
on, can I say
I'm
one thing about this though,
sure.
with the selective
Mhm,
outrage? Because it's directly related. Because it's like we get upset about white people supposedly
mhm.
gentrifying our neighborhoods,
Exactly where I
but
was
it's
going with
black people who are selling their homes and properties to them. So, I mean,
that's part of the issue too. But my other thing is this has been my experience because of course we both just bought homes in areas that are turning over, since we don't really like to use the word gentrified. Our area is like turning over, but my issue is not the fact that we have black people selling their homes to white people. They're trying to make a buck, they're trying to get out. But my issue is when the white folks do start moving in and start improving the neighborhood
you weren't taking care of it.
now
Yeah.
that we were not taken care of as a people. That used to be like really nice, upwardly mobile neighborhoods that have, been riddled with drugs and, just all kinds of other crimes. But now you want to be mad when white folks start moving in, changing things, cleaning up the neighborhood. We have like all kinds of committees and stuff. These people go out here and they're doing the work. They're, covering over graffiti and picking up paper and food, and they actually are still feeding people who are out on the street as well. They're just trying to make the neighborhood better. And
But I will say though,
you
like
like to be outraged because all the white people moving in and now we got to move out. It's like, okay, then you had the choice to take care of your neighborhood on your own.
but some of that is systemic too. Like
Some of it is
the
systemic. I'm not.
redlining, insurance, like not being, giving people loans for, home equity loans to improve their homes, like lots of different things, like in factors too. Some of it's just laziness. Some of it's like not taking the time, like you're
And
saying,
complacency.
to
And
community
complacency.
organize, to
Yeah.
care, take care of like yours, right? And
Yeah.
that's not happening. And like insisting on support and from the police and other local like services, community services, and
Yeah.
um yeah, city services. It's just,
Definitely do be moving in. I
yeah.
would love to see my neighborhood, I want a good mix of people. I'm not gonna say one way or the other. But yeah, I noticed like I have some new Caucasian neighbors that just moved across the street. There's more and more. Every time I come home, I see people walking their dogs and stuff. But I also want to be in a nice neighborhood as well. I don't know,
I want to be in a nice neighborhood, but I'm
safe.
okay
I want to
with
be
the
in a safe
diversity. I'm
neighborhood.
okay
But
with
I do like
diversity.
diversity.
I don't
Absolutely.
want all of anything.
Anything. Yes.
Yeah.
All of anything is bad. But yeah, to me, it can be selective outrage. Some of it is valid, like you said, it is, and it is systemic. But again, you also have people who are complaining, but they're not doing anything about it. You want to be outraged about a crime when Ray Ray across the street from you is like selling drugs or doing something, but you don't want to report that person. But you don't want to improve your neighborhood and make things better. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
like a big sticking point for me. But I think, yeah, we sometimes get mad again. We pick a certain thing to be mad about and not just like looking at the larger picture.
Yeah, it happens too often, and we do it sometimes in families too, right? It's like,
Yeah.
or with friends, it's like you
Oh, for
let this
sure.
particular friend or a guy, whatever, or sister, brother, do something, but then when it comes to a different set of people doing the same thing, you don't really check them. You know what I mean? Okay,
Hmm.
you're okay with your friends doing this, but like your coworkers, like, you know you're not okay, like say for instance, that's the example, with your friends or your family doing this, but when it comes to your coworkers, you kind of like deal with it. You don't address it like like politically correct or otherwise. It's just like, you just let it go.
Yeah.
And I don't think either one is like right. Like, keep that same energy.
Keep that same energy. So how do we avoid selective outrage?
Huh. Well, I mean, there
Again,
are
like I said,
ways.
self-reflection. I said self-reflection, and just be mindful.
Yeah, that's one way. That's one way. Um, let's see. What else can y'all do to not be
Just
hypocritical?
check your biases to me. Yeah.
You said what?
Check your biases, your own biases. Shoot.
Oh yeah, but I think like some
Li-
biases are like inherent, right? Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? I don't know, just like being consistent, like basically evaluate like what your values are
Yeah.
at the end of the day. Like, is it the core of like what's happening, not like
Not a
okay for
symptom.
you, like it's not
Mhm.
acceptable, then if not, then it shouldn't matter who's subjecting you to whatever. Like, you should be addressing it, or at least processing it the same way. You should be outraged to the same level.
Yeah.
Doesn't depend on who it is, or yeah, there's nuance sometimes, but at the same time, like, it's fundamentally, like, in terms of values, problematic. So
Yeah.
address it, or don't
Absolutely.
address it. Like, whatever your approach is, like, yeah.
Yeah. All right, girl. Well, you want to get into some each one teach one?
Uh, sure. You go first, though. You go first. You go first.
Oh, I should go
You ain't
first.
ready. If you ain't ready,
I
yeah.
ain't really ready, so I'm gonna let you go first. What do I got? I gotta think about what I learned this week.
Mine is like super simple. Mine is about letting go. Letting
Aw.
go. When people, places, things, whatever are taken from you, or stolen from you, or lost, like for whatever reason, like it could be any variety of reasons, right? Like, the current state is not what the past state is, right? Like, you have to be able to kind of accept that your new normal, and be able to move on and basically like process it through whatever you have. Like sometimes when you experience loss, depending on what kind of loss it is, there's like grief or whatever involved.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, what's for you is going to be for you. So you have to keep that in mind. So if you lose your car, this one gets torn up, did you walk away safely? Something else is going to come around the corner. You will have another car. You figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, don't get so caught up in that kind of things that you lose sight of the fact that it's clearing the way for you to have something better, at the end of the day.
All right, I like it.
I like
All
it too.
right. So what have I come up with? Sometimes you got to put your big girl draws on and handle your business.
I have to do that every day,
So,
unfortunately.
oh, I used to have the nickname Avoidra because I avoided things. So this week, I faced a challenge
Oh
that I'm
man.
so proud of myself about, and this is so funny in a way. So y'all don't be grossed out, but these are the perils of home ownership.
Oh
So
girl. I
you
know
already
what
know
you
what I'm
gonna
about to
say.
say.
I go like, oh
Let me
y'all,
tell
like
you
all I'm gonna
something.
say is hold on. All I'm gonna say is this is for real. Like she
This
for
is for real,
real,
for real. Okay.
like put her big girl draws on,
I
like
did
for
because I
real.
don't do this,
All right.
y'all. I don't do this. I don't
Mhm.
deal with stuff like this.
Cause this
Okay,
one
so
right here, she don't
this,
like flies,
I don't
ants,
pick a bug. I
nothing.
don't touch no bug, no ant,
Nothing.
no
She
nothing. I'm
don't.
not
She ain't no
doing it.
nature kid. No.
I'm not
Okay.
an outdoorsy nature person. So
All right.
let's
So
get
go
to
on. Let
it.
me not tell. Let me not give too much
Oh
away.
my goodness, girl. Okay, so y'all, this home ownership thing and doing it on your own as a woman is more than a notion. So your girl had the experience of having a dead animal under her back porch. So I go in my laundry room, which is in the back of my house. I open the door and I smell like something dead. So at first I'm like, oh my God, did a
Did you
mouse get
know
in
it
here?
was a smell of death?
Girl, you can smell death when something dead. You just know when something
You
dead.
real?
Okay.
I've never
Well,
smelled death.
girl, well, you will
Everybody,
know
they
it when you
already
do.
been embalmed by the time I see him. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So
Like,
first of all, I was freaking out about that because I don't do no bites, I don't do none of that stuff. I was like, oh my God, did a mouse get up in here and die somewhere? Because my mom had one get in her house and it died, and it was a whole situation. So I did not want to deal with that.
yeah.
So I'm like, I went in the bedroom, I got my guy, I was like, you ain't gonna like it. He was like, what? I said, something didn't died in the laundry room. So he got up and he went through there. He looked everywhere. He was like, no, I didn't find anything. So yeah, I kind of shirked a little bit of my responsibility first with him. I had to let him check things out. He's like, it ain't in here. He's like, I think it's outside. So we discover where it is outside. And I was a big girl. I made my phone calls to get somebody out here and come and get the dead animal. But normally I had him do all that stuff. Now y'all might not think that's a big deal. That's a big each one teach one for me. I put my big girl panties on and I handled it. I had the man come out. I didn't even have my guy here. I took him to where we think the dead animal was. I pointed to where I thought the dead animal was. That's a lot for
This
me. I
is
don't
an
be
improvement, y'all. This is
this
an
is an
improvement.
improvement. Like normally, I would be like, "Yo, you got to go find it on
Somebody
your
get
own."
somebody else to do it.
With somebody else to do it. First of all, I was trying to kind of get my boyfriend to come. I was kind of like, "Can you come out of the house? Because the man coming to get the dead animal." But then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna
Oh,
put my
so
big
like checking it out and figuring out where it was and like getting the animal where it like happened at
yes,
different
girl.
times. So he was already gone. He wasn't coming back to do it.
Right now, he was on his way doing other things to do,
Oh,
and so
okay.
I was so proud of myself. So yeah, I got that done. I
Yeah.
did that.
I'm
So
proud
yeah,
of you
yeah.
too. I'm proud of you too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So you ready for the next one?
No,
I'm
I
gonna,
told
I'm
him,
gonna,
you
I'm gonna,
gonna
I'm
take
gonna make
my
sure you prepared. I'm gonna put some dead animals in your yard.
girl, you ain't
I
putting no
remember
dead
that
something
time you
in it.
saw somebody saw a snake in the neighborhood. I don't even think you saw it. And like you were afraid to go in your house for like
For
a
weeks.
good couple of weeks. Like
I almost fell down the stairs trying to get out of here one day because I was just trying to hurry move fast.
I've seen a snake in
Down the
my
stairs.
own yard. I've seen a couple snakes in my yard and still like I wish a snake would. You know what
No,
I'm
'cause you
saying?
throw his head off. But you admit it was big. My neighbor sent the picture. When I showed you the picture, you said, I would have shot that thing.
Probably would.
Oh, but
Yeah.
anyway, y'all.
Yeah.
So, yes, sometimes you got to put your big girl draws on and you got to handle your own business.
True.
All right, y'all. So that brings us to the end of our show. And we want to thank you so much for sticking with us as we continue to grow. You can listen and subscribe to the show on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We also invite you to like and follow us on IG and TikTok and email us at spontaneousdisruption@gmail.com to chat with your hosts or propose topics for future episodes. With that, we'll see you next week and we
Yeah.
out.